When Women Speak.
And New Jersey Poetry Events presents
When People Speak.
Poetry and conversation with pop-up poetry guests. Your host will be Amira Shabazz Bilal.
And your co-host, James C. Ellerby.
But we're going to move on because we got the main course and the feature for tonight. And he definitely deserves the platform and the space of When People Speak. So we're going to bring him up to the stage. And if you could do the honors, Amira. There he is, the one and only, the poet, the author, the activist himself, Mychal Mills. How you doing?
Activism in words. I'm like, wow, yeah. I'm inspired, and this is dope, man. This whole thing is dope. This whole platform, everything you're doing. So, you know, I'm looking at the perfect marriage of Queen me and King me. You know, sitting on the throne, putting these festivities together. So I appreciate y'all for real.
We appreciate you.
Mychal, hey, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays, but wait, before you say hey back, let me just introduce you properly. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one that has been blessed with introducing our feature for this evening on When People Speak. We have with us our special guest, poet Mychal Mills. Mychal is a poet and a spoken word artist from New Jersey. Poetry has been an expression of the deeper layers of his soul, the place where light dances with darkness. He enjoys creative expression that opens minds and hearts to look deeper into the meaning of life. Mychal published his first poetry book in 2018 called Journey In, a place of infinite possibility. Mychal is the co-creator of a nonprofit, conscious youth development and service focused on bringing holistic balance to the community. He is our feature on When People Speak. # Voices Matter, # Poets Matter, # He Loves When Women Speak. I know he does. And NJ Poetry Events. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mychal. Hey there.
Yo, peace.
Yes.
I'm still not used to introductions though, but no, that's dope. That's dope.
Hey, we know how to celebrate our guests here on When People Speak. I mean, this is the platform to be because we get to hear our fellow poets, fellow creatives, and we also converse with them. It's not often that you can perform and talk about your work, talk about yourself, talk about your ambitions and what you want to see poetry or how you would like to see poetry. And let's open that platform tonight with you, Mychal. We welcome you here on When People Speak, June edition.
Yes. So after that wonderful accolades, we want to give the people a taste of the words in the mind of the man. So the stage is going to be all yours.
Right now. Be back.
Yeah. Peace, everybody. Peace. And thank you for having me here. You see me moving a little bit. I got this on the chair, you know. It's a new level of Zoom. But yeah, this first piece, I'm going to go right into it. You know, these are words based on what I see that I want to express. You know, this first poem is a poem that I wrote when my eyes started opening. And this is called The Program by Whitney. I am the program. I systematically download my instructions into your belief. You are a patriot of America, the land of opportunity. You have faith in anything I speak. Let's call this religion to make it easy. You join our military to be all you can be. You shed the blood of masses overseas to keep your country free. You are trained to terminate on sight instead of to see. You are a result of blind conspiracy. Bullets mysteriously find their way to those who go off course to seek. You serve me well, my veteran. Now go to your local soup kitchen to eat. And don't forget to share your favorite war story. I am the program. I create your life on the playground box to keep you in sync. No need for you to think. Just follow my instructions. Download complete. You are a G up in these streets. You rap nursery rhymes over my beats. Your women's work half naked over my beach. You'd rather buy swag than food for your kids to eat. You allow my welfare system to feed more than just food. I become their need to learn complacency and never bite the hand that feeds. Broken hoop dreams turn to dope fiends. You sold your soul for the American slave dream. You are limited by two, the Bloods and Crips, the red and blue. But the only blue is when the police come through and gunshots stain red on you fools. So blind you claim to be against the man. You become mere reflection of the man. We went off command. Just take this welfare from my hand. You serve me well, my G. Now go to your local soup kitchen to eat. And don't forget to throw Tyrone a coming home party. Rather than celebrate your niece's college degree. I am the program. I create your life from the playground box to keep you in sync. No need for you to think. Just follow my instructions. Download complete. Thank you, y'all. And I vibe with those who like the virtual versus the in-person. I get a lot of life from the crowd and there, but I'm learning the virtual space. And Amira, I vibe with you because I'm able to really connect, and like I'm reading poems I wouldn't normally read because I'm a person who likes to memorize my pieces before I perform them. But this next piece is called Tribal Justice, and I wrote this not too long ago, but it's just a reflection of this past year and everything we're seeing. What happens when probable cause is all too probable? Bills of rights can cost you your life. Courts of law seem all impossible. Climbing mountaintops of obstacle like a train with no conductor, the system seems unstoppable. Justice is not too just. Who's going to protect and serve us from those supposed to protect and serve us? We need to realign. The root of justice is just us. The system has never been justice for just us. The system that oppress us. Why fight a system you don't trust? Love at the source comes from just us. Just us and just us. We can heal our communities and bring light. Just us, we can awaken Heru's eye, a divine sight. Just us, we hold the Ra's power of all might. Just us, we build kings and queens to shine bright. Just us, we are the eternal stars of the night. Within, for us, by us, we must return to just us. Peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this last poem, shout out to the queens. And I wrote this from being male embodied, but being connected to my feminine energy. And I wrote this as a message to the queens that we see what's going on in society and the imbalance of our masculine energy. And I wrote this in dedication to that, the social complications. Society told him he wasn't man enough. So he decided to learn how to man up. A couple dumbbell curls inflate the ego to look tough. And now you have full permission to treat the girls rough. You are the protector, but who's going to protect her? When you decide to put women down so you can man up, flare up, and tear up anything that lifts the anger of your hand up. Don't sweat it. He's just learning how to man up. Chest open, don't sump, you better stand up. But Rosa Parks had the courage of any man. And she sat down. Asada Shakur overcame the power of many men when she was beat down. Harriet outsmarted the minds of little men underground. So let me speak to all the queens that have rose to the crown. A man does not beat or abuse woman. That's something little boys do. A man does not degrade or call out woman. That's what little boys do. And a man does not violate or rape woman. That's something little boys do. And boys will be boys because they don't know how to be emotional. I don't put my hands on woman unless she want me to. That's consensual. Not to be lowered to the sexual. She is a creation of divine potential. A breed of intellectual and spiritual. She is manifestation of everything essential. and most importantly, reflection of you and me. For all the kings that agree, please stand and degree. The cells of our life force revolve in feminine energy. Let it be known that she is safe in this home. My aunt, she's the feather of my heart. She's the beginning of my start. Without her, we are part, and with her, we are whole. For the queens, I will hold. War to the throne, truth to power. I promise you, these are more than just words of a poem. Please, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, brother. That last piece. Ooh, I'm gonna let Amira talk first. Go ahead, Amira.
I'm over here. Like usually, I'll jot down notes as the poet is speaking, so that I can reflect on it. But I couldn't write down anything because I was too busy listening and too involved in what you were giving us. So that was like, that doesn't happen often. And you talk a lot about energy, and I promise you, we're not in the same room. In fact, you're in South Jersey, if I recall correctly. I'm in Central Jersey, so there's some distance there. But I feel that energy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that energy, and it's amazing. But before I get into like the details of what I want to dig into with you in this discussion, James, is it anything that you want to speak on before I talk about Journey In?
Yeah, first of all, the first piece, the program, I mean, that's one of my favorite pieces from you.
Mm-hmm.
I recall when you featured at my show in Carteret and you did that piece. The first time I heard you do that piece, and I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what inspired you to talk about like the systematic oppression in that way, in that creative way? I'm curious to that. I mean, that's just some real out of the box thinking right there. So I'm curious about that.
Oh yeah, I often tell people that The Matrix was a documentary more so than just a movie. And if you're watching from just the movie eyes, then you are part of that program, But just knowing that, and I mean, I work heavily in schools and working with youth, and just last week we were at the final day of high school, and we were talking to the senior class. We asked the senior class, if you believe that everything on the news is mostly true, stand up. Nobody stands up in the room, So I think we know, the illusion, the blinders that are being portrayed for us. But I spoke those two verses in that poem intentionally to reach different parts of the community. From my brothers who are out here lost on these streets, for you to know that you're actually living in that illusion. You're doing what they want you to do, and what they've designed for you to do. And for those, this actually come from white veterans that I saw down in South Jersey, who are just so patriotic, this and that, but they can't feed themselves. The system that you bought into is not for you. You came back home serving a purpose, knowing you now have no purpose. So and they're proud Americans in the soup kitchen line. So I just wanted to bring light to that, because I think people need to see, even if it's just a glimpse, look for your own eyes, not just the eyes of what's being told to you.
Absolutely.
And that truth, which you just stated, is not even about color. It's about the truth.
Yeah.
The truth. You're playing into exactly how they set this whole paradigm up for all of us. And the issue I have is the everyday job of teaching and educating. And I'm not talking about my kids. I'm talking about myself. Every single day I'm finding out things that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, well, how much else is there out there that I don't know? And it's scary. It's scary.
It's true. It's true. Now, I just want to add one more thing. KRS-One has a quote that I love. He's just talking to a group of students, but he said, "Don't seek truth other than within yourself." You know, and I was like, wow, that blew my mind. You know, what is truth that I analyze as truth, but if it's coming from here, I know it's true.
I was just having this conversation with my wife. I threw out the question. I said, what is it? What is more important, to know the truth or know your truth? You know, and that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. And you said it also, you know, as eloquent too. But let's get into this book.
Yeah. So it's funny. It's funny. Let me just hold up the book for everyone to see. James, I think you have it as well. So I want you all to purchase this book because this is deep. And there is so much in here to reflect upon that is truth and is value to each and every one of us. And it will take you a minute, although it's a thin book, it will take you a minute to get through the pages and gain some understanding and just kind of feel your life on these pages. But it's funny that we're talking about truth, because one of the questions I had from Journey In by Mychal is that there is a poem in this book called Grateful Encounters. And one of the lines in Grateful Encounters is, I live my beautiful truth. I believe that's where I got that quote from, or that statement from. And so we're talking about living a beautiful truth. Mychal, what is truth?
And my truth is going to come from my truth. And that's because my truth is coming from my eyes, and the truth can have so many variables, right? But I'll leave you there, because truth to me, and this is the 3 stages of wisdom that I heard in a teaching once at a meditation course. They talked about the first stage of wisdom is when I tell you something and you automatically believe it. No questions asked, you just take it and run with it. You know, we see a lot of that in society, right? The second stage is I give you some information and you analyze it, you process, you maybe do a Google search on it, right? You know, but you're taking your own analytics and applying it to the truth that I told, and for you to differentiate what the truth is for yourself. The third level, and this is the one I live with, is the truth that comes from my experience, right? And I don't need news media telling me something's true if I have lived experience, right? And anything, right? You know, but that's the truth I live in. It's the path I walk. It's the journey in, you know, no pun intended, but it's the place where I reside. You know, I walk that mountain, so I know it's true. You know, I don't need to see a picture. I don't need to see or hear your experience, but I have applied knowledge that I found to be true for myself.
Yeah, I often agree that truth is whatever perspective you have, and just like you just stated, like whatever you lived, so you can connect to and relate to and understand, digest, it becomes your truth. If you haven't experienced, you haven't been exposed to it, you have a whole nother truth sometimes. But when we talk about Grateful Encounters, the book deals with a lot of the I. So I want to know, who or what is the I, meaning the letter I, meaning I, at the center of most of the poems in this book? Who or what is that I?
I don't know. No, all seriousness, I've been doing a lot of meditation over the last few years, you know, since 2013. I've been diving in, you know, into a deeper layer of myself, and I'm continuously finding the I. And then the I am, there's a poem that talks about the I am. I think that I am, you know, remove the think, I am, you know, and that's the bridge of, for me, masculine and feminine. But even my I, at least from the eyes that I perceive it, know there's an I above that I. You know, it's a nothingness. This is, I am everything and I am nothing. You know, it's the I that can't be explained. It can't be even mentioned in words. You know, my essence is beyond words. So in the I of that form, it's just like, I could just honestly say, I don't know.
But we do know that the I does exist, and what it is currently isn't what it was yesterday and won't be what it will be tomorrow, but it is what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got through, like, as I'm reading, and it's constantly pulling out the I. And it was something that you just said that I want to elaborate on a minute. Let me just find it in my notes here. Oh yeah, nah. Here we go. You just said it, and it was in my notes. In the beginning of the book, it begins with, well, let me just say this with no disrespect. Are you questioning God or his existence in some form with the poems? Because in the beginning of the book, it says, God, I am. Am I? So the I, the I, is that a sense of questioning a spirit, or questioning whatever you believe is a higher power, if there is a higher power for you? That resonates throughout the book. So are you questioning this existence? What does that mean? God, I am. Am I?
That's actually an invitation to become curious. And from my curiosity and knowing in this form, I'm saying, God, I am, to be true. You know, the I am being the name of God, but I found God by questioning, am I? Who am I? You know, and when I continuously asked myself those questions, I found I am. And then when I continuously went and explored I am, I found God, essence, creator, whatever label you want to put it. But I just found this higher power within me, you know, that when I was in stillness, you know, when I was in silence, I could feel and hear beyond words.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think it's more like what I was saying with the fact that it's an evolution. So I am, and then in the next second, am I? Because I've evolved into something altogether different within moments or within seconds. So I kind of felt that. The next question is, here's a statement. I live my beautiful truth. I live my beautiful truth. I live my beautiful truth. And I think we kind of touched on this already. It was like, well, what is the truth? It is how I perceive it to be. Did I get that right?
Yeah. But what's essential in that quote and those words is beautiful. Because on my journey, when I was discovering who I am, I started seeing beauty in everything. I see beauty in the chaos, but some perceive as chaos. I see beauty in what some could call ugly, and I see beauty in life. I see beauty in death. You know, so the beauty is what I awaken to. It's like I live my beautiful truth. You know, to see beautiful outside of me. You know, from the embodiment of what comes inside of me.
Because you could also, like most people, when they have nothing else, they kind of live off of the negative side of that. So you're choosing beauty in terms of how you're directing your soul and your spirit and your life. So that kind of resonates with me as well. I like that statement. So I'm going to move to, I'm still on Grateful Encounters. I spent a lot of time with this poem. There were a couple of others too, but this one I kept coming through because I am, as you well know, a teacher, and I have transient students, meaning these students come from every place and they deposit themselves as immigrants or as children of immigrants in the city of Newark. So this poem, Grateful Encounters, kind of pulls that out. There's a statement in there that says, because there is nothing wrong with being poor and in possession and rich in good spirit, meaning what actually? Like I kind of know what it means, but like when you put that into an immigration experience, taking up your roots and coming to a new place, where's the poorness in that?
Yeah, I love that. Grateful Encounters, actually, there's 4 parts in that book.
Oh. And
they're all experiences and interactions in food stores. All right, so that particular one was Walmart. I know it very well. That was a strong trunk supporter, and in the back, and I was like, oh, this is strong right here. But and she brought up immigration in that conversation, And I was like, wow. But it helped open my eyes because I work with a lot of youth, like you, Amir, who are transient, right? But a lot of them haven't come here off their own will. So I have a youth who's in her 20s, and she's going through this immigration battle, this and that for her, her papers and everything. But she's like, Mr. Mike, man, I didn't even choose to come here.
Wow.
I had no choice, and here I am going through all this. And she's telling me about a story how her mother brought her here for a better life. And that's where that poor in possession, rich in spirit comes into, because she brought her here for a good life. But when her mother talks about it, so when she's of age and she's settled in it, she's going back to Mexico because of how beautiful the land is and how simple it is down there and how, she feels more connected. I'm like, okay, are we really coming here for better opportunity? The glamour, the lights, the money, that line is talking about all that. There's nothing wrong with being poor in possession and rich in spirit. When I went to Uganda, Africa some years ago, it was the Americans here, right? And symbol of haves, I have versus, but I was like, wow, this is rich. Your spirit, which you just gave me, is richer than any dollar I can put out of my pocket. So that poem has a polarity to it where I start off one way, but then I show the light. And that's at the end where I show there's nothing wrong with being poor in possession and rich in spirit, because that's something that's lacking here.
Yeah, I got that. As I read through that part and I got to the ending, I was thinking about my own travels in a country, Cuba to be more specific, where it was very eye-opening viewing crumbled, dilapidated buildings and people emerging from those buildings with full smiles.
Yes.
And in the middle of the night, the children are out in the streets safely playing ball and tag and rope whip and children games. So I'm wondering, like, you came to America with hopes of bettering yourselves, and you were poor, and that goes back to the line, but you were really rich because you were able to smile. And when you came here, I just wonder, are you still smiling? Are you still dreaming? I'm thinking that this poem is about not only the Trump supporter, but also the many types of immigrants that come to this country for whatever. So is there equality here? This is what I thought about as I read that poem. Is it about belonging to a country? And another thing that I found in that poem was, is Americanized a bad thing? So yeah.
I'm gonna hit on that last piece because I like it. I've been thinking about that a lot, right? So Americanized. I'm not gonna say it's. I've talked to my partner about this too. It's a bad thing because it made me, right? And it made you. It made us in some form, right? So I don't think of it as so much a bad thing, but not to get stuck on that thing. And I've been in containers, trainings and stuff like that. We talked about even just Africans first, right? So just understanding that, right? And just understanding, American comes second. And even though American is America, I'm not, I might subscribe to some things that are American or unsubscribe to other things that are American, but to Americanize, I spoke about there is that the chase of what I see a lot of people doing is just chasing fulfillment out of suffering, right? And you're trying to fulfill yourself externally. I look at you and James and what you're doing here. I'm like, man, this is feeding you something deeper, right? Yeah. We doing this to get rich. We doing this to get, but we're doing this from a space inside, out of love. Which I think, the American way of capitalism that drives so many other things, that go on here, it's in some ways it's forcing you to look outside yourself for fulfillment, even though there's an everlasting fulfilled space inside. That makes sense.
Well, it makes absolute sense. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know which way to go with this. Here we go. The book, Journey In, is what we're talking about. And believe it or not, I've really only focused on one poem in this book, So you can imagine the wealth, the nourishment that you could get by purchasing the book and reading through it, because this is one poem.
Mhm.
I'm going to take a second and I'm going to go to page 15 and I'm going to read something, and then we're going to maybe have one last question after that. And this one is fire, injustice and oppression, world suffering, breaking free from the program. And that's how you start it tonight, breaking free from the program. So the fire and the injustice and oppression, world suffering. And I think that what you're trying to say is, with living a beautiful truth, is that you're going to fight that. You're going to be one of those soldiers, where it's not going to be okay that anybody suffers. And that's what I feel myself, and that's what I feel when I read through here. And I just need to know, am I right? And is that your message?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And that, and every poem after that, just really speaks to the externalized me, right? You know, I've been talking a lot even here about the internal me that has been developing insight, journeying in. And then the external part is how I come about, fighting these systems of oppression in the world. This is how, like, kids, conscious youth development, and what we're doing, everything I'm building in this community is doing to bring more balance. Even that poem, that Just Us, that's it for us to stop looking at the system and let's come together.
Yeah.
Let's build. Let's collaborate. Let's lift each other up. So that fire comes from that burn, that passion, to make a difference from the place where I saw a difference in me.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's going back to my beautiful truth. Everything I do externally is a reflection of what I've learned internally.
So the beautiful truth of this conversation, this book, this moment, you as a poet, is the uplifting of everybody present with these words in this conversation, letting everybody know that, the space is here. If you need that space, if you need to connect with something, if you need to learn about what it means to truly free yourself with words and poetry, you got it. Come here and break free of that mold, because here there is no mold. We're trying to better ourselves, and we're trying to help others better themselves. So in closing with this conversation with you, what is your greatest?
Ooh,
take that any way you want. What is your greatest? It could be anything.
Yeah, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The greatest for me is the unknown, the unseen, but felt on the deepest level. It's the invisible visible. It's the touch of no touch. It's everything in between and outside the lines. It's everything I am. It's everything I'm not. It's everything am I. And it's everything God spoke to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mychal Mills, and that answer could only have come from a true poet, a true free spirit, a true, and I hate to use the word molder, but that's exactly what you're doing. You're casting that mold to let everybody know. Just drop on in, break free of that frame that you're used to, and find the trueness, the beauty of truth. And we can start with Journey In by Mychal Mills. Thank you, Mychal.
Man, thank you. And peace to everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone listening. James and Mary, this is beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you.
And we hope to see you back on another show right here, When People Speak.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you,
Mychal.
Thank you. Whew. Wow.
Deep. So, like only a poet could have answered that question. And you know what? When you see me, you can shake me up, because I try to put Mychal. I'm sorry, you can still hear me. I try to put Mychal in the hot seat, and he got right off that seat. in royal grandeur, he got off that seat and did it with finesse. I love that, Mychal Mills.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there's nothing like when a man is so self-aware or anybody self-aware, but especially in this society where for Black men, we're constantly being stripped of our value. But when a young Black man is self-aware, there's power in that.
And strong in that, and strong in
Yeah.
that, and that standing firm. As I have no problem telling you that I connect with my feminine side. He's told me that in person. He's told me that from the moment that we've met a few years back, and you can see the beauty in making the connection between those two energies within. Mychal is straightforward. He's always spoken from a place that it is truth. It is a beautiful truth, as he stated in his book. It was a pleasure having Mychal, and not only Mychal, but the rest of our guests this evening. It was a pure pleasure having them here on When People Speak.
Yeah, indeed. And once again, you could get Mychal Mills' book right on Amazon, or reach out to him on Facebook and get a signed copy. Once again, authors love when we can send you a signed copy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess that's it for this evening.
Yeah, I think we gave the people enough and something to ponder over and enjoy. And so definitely go back on the on demand replay of the show, and continue to comment, and we'll definitely continue to answer you. But that's it for this show. This is one for the books, and let's sign them off.
Yes, sir. Just before we sign off, be ready. Same time, same bat channel, same bat station. Next month, we have When Women Speak, the second Tuesday of every month. We have When People Speak, the last Thursday now. We're no longer on Tuesdays. Is that correct, James?
That's correct.
Thursdays. So if you have a suggestion for a feature for us, drop us a line, drop me an inbox, drop James an inbox. If you like to see something on our platform, let us know about it. If you really like something on our platform, let us know that as well. And after saying that, I'm going to say peace to everyone and see you next month.
See you next month. Take care. We are out of here. Promote your business live on When People Speak. Our promo videos are 35 seconds. They're ran for 3 shows, and it's a good way to grow your business. Support our platform at a low promotion fee. And remember, your business matters. And you can do that by emailing us at whenpeoplespeak@gmail.com. So support When People Speak. Be a sponsor. Be part of the family. We know you're enjoying the show so far, and this is how you can show your support of When People Speak. You can donate now at Cash App, $Amira Shabazz. So support the artist, support the platform. You are the ones that make this show possible. So continue to allow more impactful, inspiring shows by donating now.